sound great tonight.
I'm sexy.
You're bringing that Phoebe thing whenever she got sick.
Oh, yeah. She had the sexy voice.
Yep.
God, how did that stupid cat song go?
Smelly cat.
Smelly cat.
What are they feeding you, smelly cat? I don't know.
No, I think that's right.
Is it?
Yeah. What are they feeding you? Yep.
So it finally happened today.
What finally happened today?
No, not today. I'm lying. This week it finally happened.
What finally happened?
I shaved. And when I looked down at my clippings, there it was right in front of me. Not my future, but the fact that I had just as much gray as I had colored. So I'm on the downhill slope from this point forward. Next year, I'll be Santa Claus.
You really have a hair obsession, dude.
I'm just telling you about my life, and you're making it a mental illness.
It might be.
Project much or much too much?
Much too much.
I think you're projecting.
I don't have hair issues. I have hair.
Why don't you just rub it in, you little biatch?
You say that like it's a bad thing. Are you trying to look at the hair on your face right now?
No, I'm trying to figure out if I need to trim my nose hair.
Oh, even better.
I thought I did very well last week because
you did fantastic.
There were sections where I was so freaking quiet. I was like, you can't even hear me breathing heavy in that section.
Well, I try to edit our breathing out. It's not like good if there's heavy breathing in the back.
I think it depends on which fan you're asking. You know, we are equal opportunity, heavy breathers. Hey, I did want to tell you congratulations on surviving last week. I know last week was really tough for you, but congratulations. Good job.
Surviving last week.
Yeah, you were having problems last week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was having kids stuff. I guess she was starting to get sick, but we had like major meltdowns.
But to be honest, you have something every week, and that's kind of exciting. It's good for our listeners.
It's fucking annoying. It's bad for me. I'm gonna die young.
Yeah, but no one would listen if you said, I had a wonderful week. You know,
I want to have a wonderful week. I want to say, I had a great week. Everything was fine. The world's not on fire. It's fun. Everything's fine. But instead, the world's on fire, and we're sick.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that. We seem to be filling out the schedule pretty well. So
no, you seem to be. I feel like for the 5 interviews that I booked, you booked like 15. So you win.
Not really. I think we're neck and neck. I mean, and if you count the year that you have ahead of me.
Yeah, a year and some months, yeah. But when I started, it was only 1 interview a month.
And then you needed to drink more, so you justified more podcasts so you could drink.
Yeah, because I really have no social life. I will not lie. That's kind of it. I tried to go bowling. They were closed. I was sad.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just
What's wrong? What's wrong with bowling? Shut up.
I'm not going to make any funny jokes related to balls at all.
Oh, so, I do. I embarrassed my 15-year-old.
Like, how hard is that? You just existing is an embarrassment.
Well, no, because it was like right after we all came off quarantine and I went into the bowling alley and like legitimately, I was like, should we buy our own balls? Or are yours relatively sanitized? And he looked at me and I looked at him and we made like a soul connection because I went, how do you clean your balls? And he pulled a bowling ball out and we had the greatest conversation of
Did he hold it? Did he hold it between his legs, though?
He did everything. He was like, can we shine it like this? And I looked over and my daughter was so pale. She's pale anyway. You could see like the blue blood veins through her face.
So did you get his number? He sounds like a winner.
No.
You could have free bowling and be around all the balls you want.
Yeah, I'm kind of over balls. We should let your...
that's probably some of your issue. You're literally... There he is.
What's up? Hello.
Dude, what are you doing, man?
Sorry about that. Apparently, I can't tell the different time areas.
That's
okay. Neither can I. It's fine.
Yeah,
I've been doing this for over a year.
Totally thinking we were at 8 o'clock. I apologize.
Yeah, did you get the kids down?
No, but my wife's here, so she'll take care of that.
Oh, sure she is.
Oh, wait, I'm looking sexy with my little picture here. Hang on a second.
I know.
There we go.
There you go.
He's like, that's real life.
This is real life.
This is what it looks like.
Man, either your hat is crooked or your head is.
Both, probably. Here, let me do this for you.
There it is.
It's going to have to be a little crooked because that's the style.
So, Adam, tell me what's going on today. How's the wife and kids?
Well, today's been a long one. We had I'm a musician, so I have 9 other jobs, and I was driving a shuttle service today for the airport, and so I was back and forth between houses and airport all this morning and all today, and then I had the kids in the afternoon, got them some dinner, and got them home, and then the wife got home from work, and she's got them now, and I'm on doing my rock star thing.
So let's go ahead and start off like really strong. So who are you and what do you want?
Well, my name is Adam Marino. theadammarino.com is the website. You can get everything from there. What I want is, at this point, is just to be heard again. I had some success back in the day, and if you'd asked me back in my 20s when I got signed what I wanted, I would have told you world domination. At this point, I'd just be happy with getting the music out there and having as many people listen to it as I can and be relevant on some kind of level.
Dude, that wasn't funny at all. What the hell?
You asked, he answered. You didn't add and tell me.
You didn't tell me anything comedic about it.
So I have to tell you, when I first met him, we played Ricktoberfest, and he was the second guy, and he got up there, and I was like, I like this guy. He's kind of that full-figured kind of musician like myself, total babe magnet. Let's see what this guy can do. So he got up there, and he started singing, and I was like there with him. I was like, woo! I even took off my thong, threw it at him. Of course, it covered his face, and he couldn't sing anymore. But, that's just what happens. Anyway, so kind of met him at Ricktoberfest, and he got up there, and he just killed. Adam, you just killed, man. I thought you were.
Go ahead. I'm going to let you keep talking good about me.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to go by just Adam Marino, but you've changed it back to the because you are presumptuous.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if you're going to search me, you got to be able to find me. There's only one me, but there are a couple other Adam Marinos that do entertainment type stuff. It's like a Broadway guy and like some guy dude does like folk music. I don't know.
How long have you been writing and performing?
Oh, man, 25 years. I mean, I played my first bar when I was 14. I'm 42 now, so whatever the math is on that. But I've was writing since that first little garage band and back in Charleston, South Carolina. And we literally play in the guitar, play in the garage and then try to book shows during the day. Actually, this is how old I am. I actually had a beeper that I would wear to school. The club owners could beat me, and I would go to the payphone at school and call them to try to book shows.
That's pretty cool. I thought you were from Minneapolis, though.
No. I work with a band out of Minneapolis, but I've never lived there.
Was that
So my father moved us. He worked for Nationwide Insurance. He moved us all over the country when I was growing up. So I went to 6 different schools, 2 different high schools. And so depending on what age I was is where the story is going to come from there. In my later life, I went to Penn State and I started the band that would eventually make it. We moved to Baltimore to get management and got signed out of Baltimore and then, went to California from there.
So would you say Nationwide was not on your side?
No, yes, the first tour was sponsored by Nationwide. Nationwide, the Adam Marino and affiliates was the original concept name.
What got you started in music?
MTV had a big thing to do with it. I had MTV when I was little. We were one of the first kids that had cable. And so I used to come home after school and turn on MTV and see Bret Michaels and Poison and these rock and roll guys. And I was like, man, I want to do that. That looks cool. Both my parents were musicians. My dad was actually, before he was in insurance, was a marching band instructor for the high school. And, decided he wanted to make some money. So he changed professions. My mom was in college, was in a all-girl chick rock band called The Great Society. She played guitar and sang backup. So that's probably where that side comes from. So musical family, but just didn't want to get a real job and saw what those guys were doing on TV and just fell in love with it. Even, I was just like, man, I'll even grow my hair. I never was a big long hair guy, but I was like, I don't grow my hair out, if I can make it. So I was 9, I was dancing on the bed with a fake guitar, jumping up and down. And then, like I said, I played my first bar when I was 14, which was lucky, and never looked back.
Very cool. So who was your favorite band? I guess Poison?
Yeah, they were one of them. As funny as it is, my favorite artist, I always say, is Poison, Green Day.
Yes,
I love,
sorry, it's my favorite.
I love Garth Brooks, believe it or not. Yeah, I got to see him when I was young, being in South Carolina, and he put on this crazy awesome show that was just like, there wasn't a person in the house that he didn't like touch at one point or another, or like see or could feel it. And I was like, well, that's the kind of like live show I want to do. So I got a lot of live stuff from him. So that's why those are my top 3, I think.
What instruments do you play, man?
I can play a little bit of everything, but bass, drums, guitar. I play guitar and sing, keyboard. I dabble in trumpet. What is that old John Lennon quote? He's like, give me a tuba, I'll get you something out of it, or whatever. However, he said a lot more eloquently, but basically I can do a little bit of anything on any instrument.
No, I think that's the best I ever heard it, man. Primary instrument is vocals and your secondary is guitar, or would you say your primary is guitar?
That's I've never had anybody ask me that. I don't know. I've always done both at the same time.
Stop being a fucking show off, man.
I'd rather be the singer, than the guitar player. If I had to choose between putting one down, like putting it down and being just a lead singer, or just stepping back and playing guitar, I would sing.
Who would you say you are most influenced by? Because you listed like 3 very different bands,
right?
Like, I don't want to pigeonhole you in like a specific genre, but.
Well, that's what's hard. I wish somebody would. My whole career has been that. Like, let's find out what this kid what he does, because I do a little bit of it all. Mostly, I would say Green Day, though. If I had to pick one of them, that would be overall the look, show, style that I was doing at the time, and like what I put out when I write stuff. That's kind of what it comes out as, is pop punk.
Still to this day?
To this day, no. It's more. I mean, Green Day's still the biggest influence, just I've liked them the longest. But I mean, now the stuff that's coming out is more. Definitely acoustic-y, because it's only me. I'm not worried about writing for a band. I'm just writing for me. So it's more. It's still got the pop edge. I'm tragically pop when I write stuff. It just comes out that way, like 3 minutes in a chorus that you remember. But it just got more of an acoustic edge to it. But not like pop you hear now. It's still. It used to be like a Days of the New kind of thing. It's still got that guitar rocky like feel to it, but it's it's pop. I'm not putting out any like Ed Sheeran or anything like that.
So you used to be pretty much rock and kind of in the darker modes of rock as far as what you choose to sing about and how it was presented to the audience. So would you say that your direction from this point forward is going to be in that darker direction, or are you going to be more entertaining? Or
no, the stuff that comes out now is more apathetic, or like I should say, bitter. Like there's more of a humorous edge to it. It's not, because I'm not living that, that dark life. I've already gotten over the fact that I've kind of been run over by the rock and roll train. So at this point, I just want to have fun, and and that's the stuff that comes out to more lighthearted feeling and sounding. And the show is definitely, you saw the show. It's just me having fun with the people that are in front of me at that time.
I said I felt the instant connection because I'm a failure, and when I see that in other people,
that's it. That's how we connected.
I gravitate towards it. I'm like, oh, he has been put up wet and stepped on too many times, but I enjoyed it, and the crowd loved you too, even the kids.
That I wish I'd been recording, man. That we did a this kind of stuff I like to do live. This kid came up and he wasn't feeling it. He was on the side of the stage, and I'm always trying to include the entire audience, for the time that I'm on stage. And I was like, "What's up, kid?" And he was like, "What do you want to hear?" And he didn't have any good suggestions, so we made up a Fortnite song, like on the spot.
Nice.
I was just like, "Throw me some chords." And he's like, "I don't know any chords." I'm like, "Give me a letter." A through G, and he
said L. He said L.
Yeah, we had to direct him a little bit, and then we ended up writing this Fortnite song like live on stage, which was hilarious. And I couldn't remember it now to save my life, but it was hilarious at the time, and that pulls everybody in. At least gets them to pay attention to what you're doing. But that's the kind of thing I want to do now. I would even go. I've written some children's songs to get my kids to go to bed, so it's all. I would even put those out at some point here. It's going to be more acoustic-y fun stuff that everybody can get it back. I'm not trying to be serious anymore. I didn't even wear my eyeliner today.
I feel like I missed out on Ricktoberfest. I should have taken a plane.
It was cool. It was a neat experience thrown by a cool guy. He's
super cool.
Yeah, that's my first time meeting him.
Yeah,
he's got a finger on the pulse there of his little community, and it was fun to watch everybody come
together.
I
like Rick too.
I'm sad I didn't get to see the Uncle Brent show. I have since looked it up, and I'm sad that I had to leave. I didn't get to see it.
You fucking killed me, man. I didn't even look like I knew what I was doing. I looked lost. Where am I? Oh, what's this thing I have strapped on my shoulder?
No.
Oh, it's a vacuum. No, you killed me. You wiped the floor with me.
No. So modest. So
you play a lot of instruments. Your direction that you're going for right now is a more of a ironic. Would you say it's a Tenacious D / Bowling for Soup kind of thing?
Yes. That's a great way to look at it. Even like more stand-up. The live shows even got stand-up comedy elements in it. I'm a big fan of the stand-up comedy, like a Bo Burnham. You know, the people that like hit like right in your face, just like, here's who I am. This is what you're going to listen to for the next hour. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, because this is where we're going. And the music side of it, yeah, absolutely. Those are two of my favorites, Tenacious D and Bowling for Soup.
Where have you been? Because you had the record deal. You were on the East Coast or East Coast-ish, and then you got whisked away to the West Coast. You did your band. Then you did a duo kind of thing, right? You did some kind of a duo kind of thing. And then you just like disappeared off the face of the planet. Did Doctor Strange get you?
Yeah. So, this is what happened straight up. And this is the first time I've ever said this on any kind of public thing. So for all you Twitter berries that are listening, this is where what went down. The band did its thing. We got the record deal. It was big. It was everything you want it to be. We were on the bus, touring around. Happy. Had problems with negotiating the terms for the second album that was supposed to come out, and ultimately the deal went bad for lack of being able to say anything better about it. But I still had to finish out my contract, which included a tour. So I put together a band that was the band of name, but with different guys, and finished out the tour. That's when I went out to California, where the label ultimately ended up offering me a job as a producer and tour manager. So I did that for a little while out in California. And after that first deal went bad, really just got a bad taste in my mouth for how it worked. And then once I saw Behind the Curtain, it was like, ugh, I'm kind of over this whole thing.
Like, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Right.
It's ugly.
So basically, you are a legitimate rock star. You're playing, you're touring, you have your band, and then they go, hey, why don't we have you follow around these children and clean up after them is basically what they did.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And then it became my job because I pulled it off. They were like, that's when they offered me the job to do that. I was a producer that brought in kids, Disney kids or kids they find on YouTube, and helped them in the studio to get their 1 or 2 tracks out and send them on the road. That was my job.
Did you want to do that?
At the time, and money was good, so I was like, I'll give this a shot. I had started to really like being in the studio, so I did enjoy that part of it. But the whole like, hey, wait, I was still playing, I was still doing this and being successful at it really that's what kind of really bothered me. And so I did that, but I did it for a while just for the job and because I was out in California and didn't really have much else going on. But it did make me extremely bitter. Yeah. And so that's why I'm so nice now to deal with. That's why you get the anecdotes you do on stage. Because I was like, after it was over, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm totally done with music. I'm out.
How long did you stay out of music? How many years?
So, it's been, 8 years at least. Wow. It's been a minute. I was out in California. That first job was only 2 years long, and I was out there for 8 years, and I've been here for 6. I'm trying to do the math. Carry the one. Anywhere between 8 and 10 years, I was out.
When was your last release?
Yeah, so that's what I was actually trying to track it back to. I think I released something in like 2011, just a single that I was like left over that I was done. That was last like official, hey, this is me, just as a solo person.
Was that the Midsummer's Nightmare?
Yeah.
That's a cool song. It's kind of a dark pop thing. And you said that was the last thing you released. So there's definitely, based off of all your songs I heard, there's a change in writing style.
So I always loved the idea, and the original concept of the band, I love the idea of it being really poppy and really, Disney sounding, Blink-182 sounding. But when you read the words, it's like, oh, that's like really dark. Like the first album we put out, if you just listen to it, you would just be like, oh, that's, pop punk, whatever. But then when you read the words, it's not pretty. It's breakup songs and death songs and addiction songs. And I used to have people come, like we have this song called Forever Yours, and it's about alcohol addiction. And I used to have people come up to me and be like, can you play that at our wedding? It's so, it's so pretty. And we'd just laugh. Cause I love that juxtaposition of, if you're not really paying attention, you're just thinking it's like this happy-go-lucky song, and they're not. When I became a solo artist, and at the end of that first band, I shifted the music into being more matchy of the words, so it got heavy for sure.
Your kind of style, as far as not necessarily the music, but the lyrics, remind me of Doug Hopkins, and he pretty much wrote the entire first Gin Blossoms album.
Gotcha,
so it was like real poppy, but it was real dark and talked about suicide and drug addiction and alcoholism and things like that. So is in Midnight Summer's Nightmare, my favorite line in that was you drive me almost. Anyway, you're talking about, and the punchline of it is, but I'll see you the third week of July. So what was that line?
So the line is, you drive me almost crazy. It's like you drive me crazy is a little too easy, but it's like you're literally almost driving me insane. So you drive me almost crazy. And then I'll see you the third week of July. That song was originally about the girl that I was seeing, and we were going to get married. And it was like, no matter how, and that's how dumb it was. It's like, no matter how stupid this is, how much we hate each other, and no matter what we're doing, it's like, okay, we'll fight. Well, I'll see you in the third week of July when we're getting married.
That's a good story, man.
And what's cool about this song, and I don't think anybody knows this either, is the original release that we did of that was really poppy sounding. And it was the story of me and that girl at that time. And then I went back, and I've always liked that song. And when we chose to redo it, and I redid the music and everything, I actually changed the lyrics to readdress how it ended up going with that person.
Tell us about Still.
That is my favorite song I've ever written.
Good. That's my favorite one you sent me.
Oh, really? That's
yeah, I really like that lyric. Insanity is so much more than just a state of mind.
Yeah, thank you.
Good.
So I wrote that when I was 19 years old. I was in a band. I was living out of home, moved out of my house to be in a band. I was not going to go to college. I was going to be famous. And I was living with my bass player, who was 24 at the time. And the rest of the band was 25 and 26. So they're a good bit older than me at the time. And it was really, I mean, I was literally sitting in this ratty room. And we were playing all these like colleges and stuff and like trying to just play anywhere we could. It was not the life that you would, I was like, I want to be a rock star, but it's not the life you think it would be. You're eating ramen noodles and like playing for people that don't care. And it's like all these rat hole places. I was obviously kind of depressed and down. I'm like, is this kind of, and I just had all these words flying in my head one night. So I just sat up and just like wrote them all down just to get them out of my head. And that's what came out. And to this day, that's probably my favorite song that I've ever written. Just because it's really just honest, like emotionally honest. You can still feel it even now. It's been 30 years or whatever later. And when you listen to it, it's like, oh, okay. Something was going on with him that day.
So let me ask you, I got kind of two questions to ask you. The first one is, did you do the backing vocals on that too? Or was that someone else?
No, that was me.
So you did all the vocals, lead and backing, right?
On most everything except the very first band album, there's other people on vocals. Yeah, occasionally there's other people on backing vocals. But yeah, the first at least layer is always me.
Yeah, you did a good job. The other thing, I was like, this is like a almost 5-minute song.
Yeah.
So I was like, where the hell is my guitar solo?
It's there.
What?
There's one in there.
It's nice. It's a little one, but it's in there.
Is it a picking one? Is it the picking one? Because I really could hear like a kind of an epic guitar, because it's kind of a big song, and so I was expecting like a big guitar solo.
Well, so it's funny you say that too, because I mean it's a power ballad. That's what it was written as when I wrote it, but we've recorded it I've recorded it 4 or 5 different times. That's one of the only songs I've recorded a bunch, and I think you have the latest version of it. And so it was more, we tamed it because in the guitars were not playing on the radio at the time, so we tamed it down. But originally it had a big screaming guitar solo in it. So it's funny though, because as much as we've recorded it, I've never gotten one that I've been 100% happy with just knowing the song. Because we play it live. You play it live, it's like, that's what it's supposed to sound like. But like, haven't been able to like capture that moment with that song.
That's the funny thing about going into the studio, because you're in such a sterile environment. To capture what goes on the stage, or the sound and the feeling and the interaction between you and the audience, that's really hard to capture in the studio. Some of your other stuff kind of does that. How did you get over that bridge to where you were able to connect the gap between the sterile studio and then your audience?
I call that bottling the magic. Like, you can tell especially when you're singing, like you do a take and you come out and you listen to like a rough cut of what you just did. And it's like, oh, okay, we caught it. We caught that. We caught the magic in a bottle, or the lightning in a bottle on that take. So we got to keep that and kind of build around that. For me, it's always been literally trying to get lost in the studio. Like, set the lighting, all the guys are on the same page. Like, you're just in the moment and just trying to nail that, what it feels like, and be inside the song, as opposed to just singing what's on the paper in front of you. Just try to get to that live state where you're just on autopilot. As a performer, like, you can be doing whatever and you're looking around and you're looking at this guy going to the bathroom and you're thinking, oh, did I leave the stove on, or did I do, and you're just in autopilot mode and you just go, and you try to get to that space in the studio, not think, oh, I got 100 mics pointed at me, and we're trying to catch something, and just do it and don't talk about it. Just do it. Put up or shut up.
Tonight, a cascade of thoughts floats through my mind. It's not quite, life is too short, death is just too long. Sometimes I suppose it was coincidence. You always sounded so well rehearsed. I guess love conquers all. That rejection don't get you first. Insanity is something more than just a state of mind. I see dancing alone. You look up to me, but I can't take you home. In your eyes hold me still. But you don't know me, and you never will. Tonight, I see you dancing, pirouetting across the pane. My resolution, a solution, a drug to deal with the rain. I suppose it was coincidence that I always sounded so well versed. My love shines on all. The innuendo don't get too burst, 'cause insanity is so much more than just a state of mind. I see you dancing alone. You look up to me, but I can't take you home. In your eyes on me still, but you don't know me, and you never will. You hold me still, because I know what's right. I get left behind. I see you dancing alone. You look up to me, but I can't take you home. In your eyes on me still, but you don't know me, and you never will. And I found you all alone. Your wings were broken, so wanna still try to fly home. And my lies make me still, but you still don't know me, and I guess you never will.
What are the most vocal tracks you stacked on top of each other for just the regular lead vocals? What is the most?
Just the regular?
Yeah,
See,
just the regular.
I tell you, I'm different about this, and you pinned this on me when you saw me live. Not a lot. I mean, like maybe 4, maybe. Like what you hear. Like that's why I said I go back, and that's my style has been to be able to hit that shit live, like in the studio. Now, of course, there's harmonies parts. You know, but as far as stacking them 4 or 5, just on the regular. I mean, at the most.
Yeah, you're a beast on the mic. You have.
I've been
range.
blessed with pretty good. I have really good. Obviously, I'm not very eloquent, but I have pretty good pitch. That's one thing I've been really good at in the studio is being able to. You know, you sing it and then they go, oh, "Okay, that's good. Do the exact same thing over top of it," and I can do that pretty well. So they line up pretty well.
So that is what your studio process is like. But what is your songwriting process like? Are these things you keep in mind, or when you write, is it just kind of coming to you?
No, it literally, most of the time it's a lightning flash. I mean, I've gotten out of the shower, you know, I've come running around the corner, like I'll be driving. I'm like, oh, I gotta get that. Like, the cell phone's been a blessing, so I can like do the voice memos thing as an idea hits me, and it comes. I don't have any sort of process at all. It'll be a guitar part one time. It'll be a lyric sometimes. It'll be both. I'll hear a harmony. I'll hear like some kind of arrangement that it's always, there's nothing normal about the way that I write at all. Now, that being said, I can, and as an exercise, do pigeonhole myself. Like I'll sit myself down with a guitar and like flick on the TV and just be like, okay, I'm gonna write about the first thing I see, just to like try that, and I'm able to try to do that too. So like if I've been good in situations where like somebody's needed a song or like they've asked me to do something, that I can crank them out kind of like a machine, like a machine, without having to think about it too much. I've been very blessed in that category.
Would you say that you can write a song on demand well?
100%.
Okay.
I mean, you saw me at the show. That's why I like doing that live stuff at the show. We literally constructed a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus of the video game Fortnite with that kid as we sat there. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be good, but yeah, I mean, we can crank it out.
Okay.
You want to do what? I got the guitar. Should we make something up?
You know what? I would be game, but I don't know if she would be.
I mean, I'm game. I'm not going to Brent has to take the lead on this one because I feel like
No,
you guys want to go ahead.
Adam, just do your do exactly what you did to that kid, but
all right, let's have her write one. Hold on.
But do it to Renell.
All right. So all you got to do is give me a couple letters, and then we'll figure out the subject matter. And again, not that this is going to be good. So yeah, so give me.
Don't pick L or Z.
Yeah, A through G basically.
AGE.
AGE. So that's an A, G, E. I'm going to change your E to an E minor just for.
That's what I would have done. That's
okay. Well, that's even better. And then are we doing something fast, something slow?
Slow because I'm on meds.
Yeah, you don't feel good. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can almost give it the still vibe. And then what are we singing about? You being sick?
No. Brent, you pick.
Let's do I've had too much medication and I'm struggling to participate in this podcast.
I really am sorry. I am so sorry.
So you're like,
but I'm here, just saying.
But I'm here.
You're awesome. I'm just giving you a hard time, but you're awesome. You could do that, or you could do I have a cold.
Yeah.
And but with a cowboy kind of feel.
With a cowboy kind of feel?
A cowboy with a cold. Ooh.
With a cold and with a cowboy feel. Y'all got all kind of. All right, let's try this. Ready? My Zoom screen is off as I sit in my own pain. Don't want to know these guys are gonna shut up again. And I'm almost gone, and I'm counting down. But when these fellas just leave me alone and I can go back out to the couch. But I'm here now.
There you go. All right. Woo!
It doesn't say it was going to be good, but it's always
you did it.
I liked how you threw in the couch.
I was genuinely like, that's right. That's exactly right.
You know what I heard? I heard you saying vapor rub somewhere in there.
That's right. And that's all we got to do. We'll just line up the endorsements and we'll just put, throw a product here. And
this podcast is looking for sponsors. So if NyQuil wants to partake, we use it.
There you go.
There you go. NyQuil, if you're listening, please send your money in care of Uncle Brent. And I will share with everyone else, but send it to me first.
In case I'm on the NyQuil when I get it.
Right.
No cough syrup and money for me.
So we've kind of talked about two of your songs. You made up a song on the fly. We're talking about your new musical direction and where you're going with that. Do you have any shows scheduled or anything like that right now? How do you get ready for your shows? Is there like some type of process you go through?
No.
That was such an unfulfilling answer. No.
Yeah, no. Shot of Jack Daniels and beer. No, we
right.
always, I like to. I'll go in with an idea of what I'm going to do as far as like depending on what the crowd's going to be, like what the set's going to look like. Like how long it is, what kind of how risque you're going to be if it's kids there or not. If it's more originals or it's more covers, now I'm not playing with a band, so I'm kind of open, and I like to just sort of wing this stuff on the fly. So I just get there and kind of figure out what it's going to look like as I go. Shows coming up. That's sort of in Uncle's department. We're going to be, I don't know what I can say and not say yet, but
say whatever.
We're going to be around town. Yeah, we're going to be around town a bunch and pushing for a lot more. I've done nothing in the last years, so I'm just looking to come out firing and see what happens, to be totally honest.
I have a question. What made you come back to music after all of that? Like, why? Could you just not leave it?
You miss it. And I'm going to give credit to Rick for a lot of that, because I was literally just surfing the internet and saw that he was looking for some people to play. And I was like, that's cool. I'd play that. I'll play. And he got back to me and gave me the shot to play. Got there and, loved it and had a blast. Was like, I should do that some more. And then
I showed him my tits, and then that was it.
That was all it took. Yeah, I was like, I got hit with that oversized bra. And it was awful.
You were one of the first ones Brent told me about.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
He loves me. That's right.
He fell in love.
Me and Brent hit it off really well at the show. Oh, I think we share the same sort of outlook on the whole industry. It's like, can't take yourself too seriously at this point.
Have you gotten any film or movie syncs or anything like that? And if so, what have they been for?
Yeah, I had 2 songs in a horror movie that they just bought outright. Man, the thing it went straight to DVD. It was I don't remember what it was called now. Years ago.
Must have been really good.
Yeah, no, it was awful. But but we just sold them the songs outright, and they put them. They're both in the movie, but again, that's not probably good. But if you're like a B horror fan movie, you'd love this thing. What is that thing called? I can't even remember now. Yeah,
can you Google it?
And then I got an option on what's that?
I said, can you Google it and I'll throw it in there?
Yeah, I'll find out what it's called. And then I got an option on ABC for Grey's Anatomy, and they ended up using like enough to give me the bottom line piece of what it was, but it's like the guitar part is in one of the shows or something. But that was all cool. Spelled out. There's stuff that's floating, but nothing else that I'm going to be credited for.
I would have fucking watched that episode if one of my songs made it.
Hell yeah, even like 10 seconds to be like, that was me for 10 seconds.
Everybody,
that was it. That's pretty much the.
Everybody, come and listen to this. Did you hear that fart in the background? That was me.
But yeah, I would love to go down that road as well. So any road that's got money at the end of it at this point is a good road for me.
Let's talk about the last song you sent us, Peace of Mind. What's that about?
That song is cool. That was when I was dabbling in that. I like the idea of the dark days of the newish acoustic type stuff, and that's obviously what it would sound like if you hit it with the rest of the band and the rock side of things. So it's a real heavy track. The song itself, that riff, I love the way that sounds on the acoustic, like I said. So that's kind of how I was the sound I was kind of going for. And then when the guys that were with me in the studio were like, let's try to do it. The producer actually was like, let's try to put some oomph behind it, see what it sounds like. The lyrics for it, I was actually trying to figure out the best way to tell you this. It's funny because a portion of those lyrics are from an English essay that I did in like 6th grade. It was
that's a little dark.
It's super dark. Grader. So no, but get this, like that's what's funny about it. And so that's some of my words. I was trying to figure out the way to like tell you this. It was like a vocab essay thing where they had like all these essay words on the side, and you had to like fill them in a sentence and make like a story out of them. So I wrote this story of like this kid that essentially drowns, in the thing. And it long story short, I had this like little essay and we needed words for the song. And I'm like, this kind of fits with what I'm singing about here. The rest of it is about addiction. It's actually about heroin addiction. If you don't figure it out from the steaming references and like things like that. But it's one of those, it sounds like you're talking about a woman and you're absolutely not. It's a song about dealing with an addiction, which came from my bass player at the time back when I was in that band when I was living by myself. There's no way around it. It's dark.
So you said this one was rock, but I kind of thought it was more of a country rock, especially in the beginning.
Oh no, it is. I just meant to add, we threw the rock like guitars and bass and stuff over top of it. But yeah, no, it's totally meant to be that kind of that vibe.
And you had this one, as far as the transitions with the drums, was really cool.
Thanks.
And then the bridge was just badass. That totally blew me away in that.
So that was completely made up on the spot in the room. The producer was like, you got to do something else. He goes, you got to do something else here. And and I was like, okay, let's try to modulate that chord up a step and I'll just start singing whatever comes to mind. And that whole like staring down the barrel of a gun, that literally was just off the cuff in the studio.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because I think that's my favorite part of that song.
That's what brought that song alive. Like, we came in, that was like going to be a track we weren't going to really use. And then, like, he's like, you got to do something here. And I was like, okay, try to modulate it. I'll sing whatever comes to mind. And sang basically what you hear there. And he stops it and he's like, all right, straighten that out. He's like, I think we actually got a song now. And it's really what brought it to life.
So I noticed that the length of that song is 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
What was that planned, or were you just trying to get out your 6th grade essay?
No, it was the stuff I was doing had been getting progressively shorter. I was finding it without doing because I was over the verse, chorus, guitar solo, chorus. So I was really trying to just only include what was needed for the song itself to make the song good. And I was finding that was shortening the song. So that's literally every piece of that song that's relevant. I mean, it had a guitar solo at one point, and it actually had even like this like organ breakdown thing at one point that went back to that acoustic feel. But it drug it. I like the idea of the songs that I was working on at that point, and even now my songs do this. If you remember some of the acoustic ones, they kind of, it's more of a wave effect. It's like you have a catchy kind of part that goes, and then like a chorus, and then like another little part, and then like it sort of goes into this alternate chorus. That wasn't the same as the first one, and it ends, and you never really go revisit the beginning again. It's kind of like a crescendo effect. So yeah, it was intentional because I just hacked out everything that wasn't necessary for the song to be rocking forward.
My potion spent, I'll never stray from my commitment, 'cause it exhumes me, body and mind. But the time I give is well worth that ride. I'm staring at her body down the barrel of a gun. I finally found somebody and think that she's the one. So let me know what I need this time. Do I already know? She calls me in the dead of night, half awake inside a dream. I crave the scent of a sweet perfume as the poison starts to steam. Nobody's ever loved me, at least not like this. Craving the taste of beauty again, I ball up my fist. Staring at her body down the barrel of a gun. I finally found somebody and I think that she's the one. So let me know what I need this time. Do I already know? Just let me go. You can't bring me down from where I'm going. You're trying, help me now, but you can't stop me. Who are you to me? You can't make me, I won't let you bring me down. So let me know what I need this time. Or do I already know what gets me high? I finally know what it takes and I need this time. And my mistress gives me peace of mind. I finally know what it takes and it needs to be high. And my mistress gives me peace of mind.
So where can we find you on the internet?
Like you said, it's theadammarino.com is my official website that still looks like I'm, 27 years old. But you can get all the links from there. So I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Vimeo and Venmo and all that stuff. Or Venmo, that's the pay site. I'm on there too, if you want to just pay me. So that'll
Yeah,
link
me too.
YouTube,
I'm on Venmo too.
Yeah.
I am too. Just send me money. I'll take cash too.
Yeah. If you Google me, you can still get me. So the band was called Versus the Earth. So if you Google VS period the Earth, you'll inevitably get to me. But nowadays, if you just Google the Adam Marino or Adam Marino, even you'll find me within the first couple things.
All right, and I have one question and I think everything that you've been through, you might have some really interesting advice. What would you tell the young musician who was breaking into the music industry? What advice would you give them?
Don't get bitter with it. Don't treat it as don't be so serious with it. It's hard, but don't take yourself too seriously. I mean, it's because you can get your feelings hurt really easy. You can be over it really easy. And I wasted a lot of years being bitter and where I should have just been happy about what I accomplished. So that would be, just don't take yourself too seriously, I think would be my.
And what business advice would you give them? Because that seems like something you're dealing with now. Yeah,
that's a great question too. What is your business going to be? What is your model? Like literally down to like who owns the rights to your songs? Like who are they copyrighted under? Copyright everything under yourself, or are you going to put out an LLC? Are you going to be your own corporation? Like how are you going to pay taxes? Pretend like you do have $1 million. How are you going to split that up? If you make those decisions earlier and in the process, it's not going to be, you won't deal with the same stuff at the end of the road. And the worst thing that can happen to an artist is to have money all of a sudden, and then it's like, oh, now everybody wants some of it and I don't know where it's going or I don't know that. So you figure out what you're, and that's separate from your artist personality, your artist thing. And
but you need
I think that's why all these YouTube kids do so well, because YouTube kind of forces you to get line all that stuff up in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And so then when it starts being successful, they don't have to worry about that. But figure out what you are going to be and what that looks like as far as like, if you're a band, is everybody equal? Are you paying people to be in the band? Right. I mean, for me, it was my show and my guys were just hired guns, so it's like, you got to figure out what's the best for you and then how you're going to manage all that. And like I said, pretend like you have a bunch of money and you were going to pay taxes on it. Like, how would that look?
So when you had your band, did you actually manage them or did you have a manager that managed them?
So I managed us until we found somebody that we liked. And then we were with him and his partner and he died, unfortunately, because I loved him. He was a good friend of mine. And then moved away from that first manager and I managed us again and managed us into where we were in negotiations for the record deal. And we brought on another manager who ultimately didn't do too hot for us. And that was it.
Did you lose control once you got closer to the record deal? Is that what happened?
My problem and the reason I was so bitter is I gave away control. I was like, I want to be taken care of. You need to figure this, manage me, get me through this. Let's make me famous. I don't want to worry about this stuff. And I looked the other way when I shouldn't have and gave power to people that shouldn't have had it.
Good. How old were you?
26.
Yeah, that seems right.
Yeah, and I was at that point already. I was like, we should have been famous already. Right. Famous back when I was 19. But I just wanted to be what I saw on TV. I wanted to be like the rock stars. You see how well I went for all those guys.
Well,
it doesn't go well when you don't pay attention to what's going on around you.
Well, the 9-year-old dodoesn't know all the hours and hours that went behind that music video, and the hours and hours that were in the studio, and where all the money went, and who's guiding you, and who their team is. You don't see that as you're a kid. As a kid, you just see the thousands of people in an audience, and you're like, I want that. But then reality hits, and if you don't know what you're doing, you could very easily fuck yourself.
Yeah. And that's why I was saying with the business thing, it's like, pretend that you have $1 million. That sounds stupid to some kid sitting like in his room, but that's real. Those kind of figures plan it out. Real, really easy. And you don't think about that. And at the time, like you said, I'm just in a different hotel every night and I got cash in my pocket, that they're throwing me for whatever daily, but I'm not probably paying for anything either. I'm on a bus, I'm in a hotel. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. The thing that's interesting as far as that goes is, your parents in school teach you how to be a sheep. The bell rings, you go to your next class. Yeah. We're supposed to work from 9 to 5, 8 to 6, something like that. We're really trained to be sheep as far as America. And so it's not surprising that when you choose to do this, your parents pretty much shit their pants. Where you're 6, 9, 19, your parents shit their pants. I mean, I know that my parents were like, you need a backup plan and then a second backup plan because we all know how smart you're not. And
And then you spend so much time on the backup plan and the second backup plan that it takes time from what you should really be doing.
Exactly. And, but you need to be smart about it. When you're a kid, learn everything you can, because once you actually get into the business, all the playing and learning is really hard to make time for because you're too busy juggling these balls and plates and chainsaws in the air. So I would say, as far as your skill set of being a musician, a singer, a songwriter, know your instrument, learn everything you can, so that when you're old enough to actually manage your stuff, you'll be able to manage it and still take care of the artistic part too.
There is a switch over there where it goes from being fun and, you're so hungry that you can't see anything else. You got the blinders on, because you're just like, I want this. And then once that success starts coming, everything that like you said, everything that mattered before, that just fades to the background. And now you're like, okay, now there's this whole nother set of issues and problems that I had no idea when in that music business side of it. Like, if I'd have known half the stuff that comes along with it, being a rock star, I'd been like,
quote unquote.
that.
All right, everybody, I want to thank you for stopping by Sound Pollution and listening to episode 66. I want to thank Adam again for being on the show today. Please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to Sound Pollution on whatever listening platform you are using, and as well as social media. Don't forget to make some noise.